Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'm going to start our afternoon session with sharing this topic with you, integrating the teachings into your life. This is where you can learn about how to take the lessons from what we've been discussing over the last several days and bring them into your life on a day-to-day basis. It's just a short little bit of content just to kind of help you to learn how to build up a regular, consistent practice. So I'll share with you guys this, and then after that, I'll share something else with you, kind of an activity that we can do, and we can even talk about the field trip tomorrow if you guys would like to go on the tour tomorrow. We'll talk about that a little bit too. So let me teach this to you first. This is how you would like to build up your practice to be able to integrate these teachings into your life on a day-to-day basis. The first thing is, it would be ideal if you attended weekly classes, either in person or online, and you guys know how to do that if you'd like to attend those with me. But there's other places out there that teach too, but you can learn weekly. It's kind of like dripping the teachings into your mind, right? Like if you went through a class like this and then you didn't do any more studying for like the next 3 to 6 months, you're not really bringing the teachings into your life in a significant way. So you'd like to kind of drip the teachings in weekly, where you're attending kind of an hour and a half, 2-hour class. This will be really helpful for you, either in person or online. And then where you would like to do in-depth learning opportunities like this, where you're taking a 5-day course or a 10-day course or something like that, there's always those options available for you. So this is what you would like to be able to do to kind of bring the teachings in. Just one thing to be able to do to bring the teachings in is be learning regularly in classes, courses, and retreats. Then this first book that you guys are probably familiar with by now that we've been using is Developing a Life Practice, The Path That Leads to Enlightenment. You can get this for free from our website. You can download it and take it and go print it. You can get printed versions here by reimbursing us for the printing cost, or you can order it on Amazon. What I suggest you do is read just 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. You don't need to sit down and read for like an hour or 2 or 3. You might even sit down with kind of this urge to read a whole lot, or as you're reading it, you might feel this urge to read it a whole lot. But this isn't the kind of book that you're just trying to read for completion and just get to the end of it. Like if you're reading a storybook or a novel or something like that, you might just feel like you want to hurry up and get to the end so you know the story. This isn't that kind of book. You'd like to really take your time and walk through it so that you can independently verify the teachings as you're making your way through it. So just reading 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, it's kind of like taking a small bite of pizza and chewing on it. You'll be able to digest it a lot easier. Where if you took a real big bite, it's a lot harder to digest it. So if you take in too much content where you're reading like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, it's too much for you to digest because you need to independently verify the teachings. Nothing in the teachings is based in belief. So by you just taking a little bite like that, it allows you to digest it slowly. So just 10, 15, 20 minutes. And one of the things you'll notice like this is like you'll have had a situation maybe 3 days ago and you've just been reading 10 minutes each day. And 3 days ago, you had some situation that didn't go very well for you. And you're going to run across the teaching like, oh my goodness, this is from the Buddha. This is what I should have did 3 days ago. Would have made that so much better. Wow, now I know how to do that for the future. Or you'll be reading, and then like 3, 4, 5 days from now, you're going to encounter the very situation that the Buddha is talking about, and you'll have the wisdom of how to deal with that situation. So by just trickling the teachings in like this through attending classes and reading the book, you'll be able to come across the wisdom that you need to be able to handle your day-to-day decisions in your life. And this is the way to build up your wisdom in your practice. Then you'd like to have this practice of generosity, as we were talking about before lunch, where you're giving and sharing more than is strictly required in any given situation without any expectation of anything in return, such as your time, effort, energy, and resources. And your frequency here is more important than the amount. So for example, if you were going to donate, I don't know, $500 to an orphanage, and you were going to do that once a year, that's not as beneficial as if you donate like $1 a day or $5 a week or something like that. That would be much more beneficial because your mind's having to let go more frequently. Or if you're going to donate your time somewhere, if you do that frequently, instead of just one big time, like once a year, it's actually better to kind of do that frequently throughout your year. That's going to have more impact to the mind, to train the mind to let go. Then you'd like to be practicing this wholesome moral conduct where you're improving your speech, your actions, your livelihood, like we talked about with the Eightfold Path. As long as you're doing unwholesome things in terms of your intentions, your speech, your actions, your livelihood, this is all going to just come back to you. So you'd like to be working on improving your moral conduct like we talked about on Tuesday with the Eightfold Path. I gave you the guidance of the Buddha there, and you can revisit that through the books or the video recordings and the podcasts and all those different things. You'll hear me teaching those same things because you're going to need to revisit it more than one time, that you can improve your moral conduct, because as long as you're putting harm out into the world, this is going to come back to you. So the analogy I gave you this morning is like if you've got a pipe that's busted, the first thing you got to do is you got to close off the pipe and stop spewing oil and water all over the place. You're not going to go clean up the mess first while the pipe is still spewing. You got to stop the pipe from spewing, right? So that's what you're doing with your moral conduct, is you're shutting that down so that you can now practice wisely. And understand, you're not going to be able to just snap your fingers and instantly implement these teachings. You're going to need to gradually learn them, gradually practice them, and gradually experience progress. So don't put pressure on yourself to be perfect today, but slowly but surely start building up your wisdom and then gradually transforming your moral conduct. Then you're going to need to build up this meditation practice of 2 to 3 times per day for 30 minutes or more, keeping in mind that that can take 6 months, a year, or even 2 years to build up your meditation practice. So if you gradually work on it and gradually chip away, you've kind of got into the habit of that this week, where we've been meditating in the morning, we've been meditating in the afternoons. So you've been getting at least 2 in per day if you've been meditating with me here. And then if you've been doing one on your own at home, you're getting kind of 3 meditations a day. So just gradually build up to this. And again, don't put pressure on yourself with this either, because frequency is more important than duration. While 2 to 3 for 30 minutes or more is ideal, what you'll notice is if you have the option of 1 meditation for 30 minutes or 2 for 15, the 2 for 15 is actually going to be more beneficial for you because you're frequently training the mind. So if you have that as options, go for the 2 meditations for 10, 15, 20 minutes rather than the 1 for 30. And if you notice that you do these small little incremental changes, that if you do 2 meditations for 15 minutes, for example, now you just gradually expand that. You start working to make it 18 minutes and 22 minutes and 24 minutes, and just gradually expanding it over time until you get to a point where you're meditating consistently about 2 to 3 times per day for 30 minutes or more. When I first started meditating, my mind was so congested, I could only meditate like 1 minute, right? So if that's all you can do is meditate for 1 minute, then just do that. That's all I could really do when I first started. My mind was so bombarded with lots of negativity and lots of unwholesome things that I could only do that for 1 minute. And then gradually I just expanded it more and more and more. It was almost like hitting a brick wall when I was first starting to meditate. So just gradually expand it little by little by little. And then as you need help, you can seek guidance from a teacher, right? The way that you can get help from me is there's 4 different ways you can get help. You can ask questions in classes, whether it's a live class, either here at the temple or anywhere else that I teach in the world, or even if you're attending online, you can still ask questions. You can see that people online ask questions too. So you can ask questions in a class, a live class. The other thing you can do is you can ask questions in the Facebook group. You can post in the Facebook group and ask questions there. You can send me private messages. People use email or Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Line, all these different things. You can send me messages, private messages, and we can talk that way. Or you can schedule personal guidance where we meet together face-to-face or online. If you're traveling, you can go on our website and you can schedule an appointment and then we can meet in Zoom. So those are the 4 ways you can get help. Is you can ask questions in class, you can post in our Facebook group, you can send private messages, or you can schedule personal guidance with me and I'll help you that way. Okay, so this is how you would integrate the teachings into your life. You're attending a class kind of once a week, and of course you're going to miss something here and there. You're not going to be able to attend a live class, so maybe you watch a recording, right? You're reading the book 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. You're practicing some generosity, practicing to improve your moral conduct, practicing meditation, and then you're seeking guidance as you need help. And then slowly but surely, you're building up your wisdom and making your way to this enlightened mental state. So any questions on this? Anything you guys would like to ask? Okay. Don't see any questions online either. Okay, so now let's talk about our field trip tomorrow, okay? Because I mentioned to you guys about this, and I would give you more details on it when we get to that point. So what I do is I teach you guys for 4 days in the classroom like this, and then once you understand the teachings to a point where you've learned them a little bit, then I invite you out to this field trip. And even if people have never studied with me before, they're more than welcome to come to this field trip. So if you run across people today, or maybe you're here for the first time, if you would like to come to this field trip tomorrow, you're more than welcome. What I do is I tour people around 2 different temples. We go to Wat Umong, which is a forest temple about 15-20 minutes outside the city, and then I take students up the mountain and we eat at a hill tribe restaurant, and then we go into a temple on the mountain, and I tour students around that, because there's 2 different branches of Buddhist teachings in Thailand. There's the forest tradition and what I refer to as the city tradition, but not all of those temples are in the city. It's actually called Dhammayut and Dhammagai. These are the 2 different branches of Buddhist teachings in Thailand, and visiting these 2 different temples, you can kind of see the differences between them. So I take you around and teach you the symbolism, the architecture, the artwork of the temples, and I teach you the teachings of the Buddha through this artwork, architecture, and symbolism. So now when you visit a temple, instead of like, oh, wow, that's pretty, let me take a picture of that, you understand what that is and why that's there, because there's actually meaning and understanding of the teachings of the Buddha embedded into the temples. It's kind of like a library, that when you look at the temple, if you understand the teachings of the Buddha, they kind of speak to you. So like this symbol behind me, if you know what this means, it kind of speaks to you and it helps you to understand. So I'm going to explain these kinds of things on this trip. It's kind of like a classroom without walls, where we're going to walk around and I'll be teaching you guys these kinds of things. So if you'd like to come, the way that I do this is that we get together here at 9 a.m., just like each day. I start class at 9 a.m. and I welcome everybody. There'll be people here that aren't actually part of the class. And then I will do meditation with everybody. So we'll start off with meditation. And then after the meditation, whoever's here, I will just kind of like explain to them a little bit about the journey and kind of what we're going to do. And then I take a count of how many people are here. And then however many people that are here, I get transportation with the red trucks out on the street. And we get 1 or 2 or 3, however many red trucks we need, maybe 1 or 2. You know, there's not that many people around right now. Sometimes we need more, sometimes we need less, but probably 1 or 2 trucks. And then we get in the trucks, we go to Wat Umong, we got to go to Wat Doi Satep, and then we get back here around 4:35 is when we end up back here. And basically the students will usually share the cost of the trucks, and it usually ends up being between 200 to 300 baht per person by the time we get back to here. It depends on how many people we have. Sometimes it can be a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but it's usually right around 200 to 300 baht per person. So if you have a little bit of money in your pocket for the trip with the truck, maybe some drinks and some food that you'd like to have, maybe 600, 700, 800 baht, you'd be just fine to come on this trip. And you decide for yourself how you would like to spend that and what you'd like to do with it. There is a little bit of an entrance fee at one of the temples where they ask you to pay 30 baht to go inside, because it's a temple that a lot of people visit, and the foreigners didn't know that the Thai people have to support these temples, and the temples were kind of getting run down. And there's so many people that go there that they had to replace the tiles and pay for the water and pay for all these things, and people weren't helping them. So they had to institute a fee for people to come in. So the one temple has a fee to go into. The other one, there's one thing that we do where we go into the tunnels, and if you would like to go into the tunnels, they ask for a 20 baht donation. So there's like 50 baht worth of donations if you would like to do any of those kinds of things. But it's a really fun day. We get to spend time with each other, you get to meet a lot of people and learn about the teachings of the Buddha while we're kind of walking around the temple and exploring. So if you guys would like to come, that's kind of like what it entails. But do you guys have any questions on it? Anything you'd like to ask about related to the field trip?
I'm actually not available for tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
which is the forest temple. Can I make a note of that in case I want to visit it?
Sure. It's called Wat Umong, Umnog, or hold on, Umong. And by the way, just recently, one of the students followed me on the tour, and she did video while I was doing the tour, and I had a mic, and it's on YouTube now. So if you'd like to see the tour, it's on YouTube. Yeah, you're welcome to see that. And I do it every Friday at the end of this course, and I teach this course every month. So if you're ever around and you'd like to come, you can just come for the tour. Yeah.
Something important enough to put it on the microphone.
Okay.
I was going to the airport about midday,
Mm-hmm.
but the timing would allow me to go with you to that first walk.
Sure.
And then
Mm-hmm.
grab something back.
Yeah, we finish up at the first temple around 12 o'clock usually. So you can come and go as you please. If you'd like to go with us there, or if you'd like to meet us there, and then you'd like to come back on your own, you're more than welcome to do that. People can come and go like that. And sometimes as I'm going in the tour, people kind of come in because they see us and they don't even know what's going on, but they just see us walking around a temple. So people will come in and leave out of the tour. It's totally up to you guys, whatever you'd like to do. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I think that's everything. All right. So now what I'm going to do is share this activity that if you guys would like to participate in, you're more than welcome. That every afternoon, what we've been doing is we've been getting together, and I've been teaching you in the afternoon some aspect of Buddhist chanting or meditation or something like this. And I've been guiding you guys in those meditations and that kind of stuff all throughout the week. But now I'm starting to teach you how to integrate these teachings into your life. And you're going to need to start more and more making the decision for yourself to meditate. You guys have been meditating based on your own decisions in the afternoon anyway. Even when I'm guiding the meditation, it's still your choice to meditate, but it's been part of the course, right? So more and more to integrate the teachings into your life, you need to have the decision yourself, see it to be wise to actually choose to meditate. So rather than me leading a meditation this afternoon, what I do is it's kind of like lab time. It's really up to you. You can do whatever you would like to do. And these are just some options that you're welcome to consider and choose to do or not do. It's totally up to you. If you'd like to use your time to meditate, you can choose to do breathing mindfulness meditation. And remember, you've learned the seated, the lying, the standing, and the walking positions. You could do that if you like. You could ask questions related to the path to enlightenment. If you'd like to ask me questions, you can ask any and all questions that you like related to the path or anything that you've learned, anything you've been exposed to. We can just have a nice discussion and we can discuss anything you'd like to ask. Some people like to practice generosity and assist with cleaning up the temple, because if you guys notice, when you came in on Monday, things were, however they were, fairly clean. That's because the students before you took care of the temple and they cleaned it. So oftentimes students feel like, hey, I've been here for a little while. Let me do something to contribute to this, because the temples here, they don't belong to anybody. This temple, this classroom, it's not mine. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't even belong to the Thai people. Although the Thai people have created these temples, what they've got is they've got a national resource that all throughout the country, there's over 30,000 temples that are operating, and they're essentially mental health centers. They're community centers that if somebody would like to get some help in their life, if they're having trouble in their career or their personal life or something like that, they can go into a temple and they can find somebody to get help. And now what the Thai people have done is they've got this national resource all throughout the country that somebody can walk into and find somebody to be able to get help from. And this is a self-funded mental health network, essentially is what it is, where you're not required to pay anything, but if somebody would like to donate some time, some effort, some energy, some resources, then this network continues to grow and it continues to flourish. And while the Thai people have been working on this network for 800 to 1200 years, we can do the same thing in the West, because like in the place where I came from the USA, they started building temples there about 50 years ago, and now there's over 100 different temples, and they're starting to slowly build them throughout the country, right? So you can create this in a country. So here in Thailand, this temple doesn't belong to anybody. We're all kind of caretakers of it. And now whatever we choose to do, it'll be available for the next generation. So typically what we do is at the end of a course like this is we'll do some amount of cleaning or caring for things. Like I don't know if anybody saw me this morning. I was outside sweeping outside. It was pretty dirty out there. So I was sweeping that big tiled area in front of the classroom where all those tables and stuff are. So these are things that you guys can be doing whenever you come here. If you would like to help out, you can help out around the temple, and this helps to make it a nicer place for all of us. It's not something that I require you to do. It's not something that I'm expecting you to do. It's not even something I want you to do. It's your choice if you would like to do that kind of thing. But this is an option of something that you could do if you would like to do that here. We have in this one room here, we have all kinds of cleaning supplies and brooms and different things like that. And we have stuff in the bathroom too. You're more than welcome to help out if you would like to help out with that kind of stuff. So these are the things that people tend to do during this time frame. Or maybe you're like, hey, it's been a great week. I'm a little bit sleepy. I need to go home and get some rest. I'd like to rest up for the tour. Maybe you decide to do that. And not everybody has to do the exact same thing. Some people might be meditating. Some people might be choosing to ask questions. Some people might be choosing to clean. Some people might be choosing to go home. Some people might choose to do all of these. I've seen some students, they'll start with meditation. They'll come ask me a few questions. Then they'll actually go start cleaning a little bit. So it's really up to you, whatever you would like to do. I'm just going to end by saying thank you all for your interest to learn and understand the teachings of the Buddha, because learning and practicing teachings like this, it's not easy, right? Like you could go to a place where they're teaching you about a bunch of beliefs and then hoping something good happens when you die. This is one way to approach these kinds of things. Or you could come to a place like this where I'm sharing with you teachings that you need to learn, you need to examine, you need to investigate, you need to reflect on them to verify whether they're true or they're false. You need to practice them and integrate them into your life. This is challenging for someone to do. There's real work. There's this real inner work that you need to be able to do. But that's where the real benefits come in, by doing that kind of work. So I really admire people who come to places like this and say, you know what, I'm going to set the ego aside. I'm going to see that what I'm currently doing in life is not perfect. There's areas for improvement. I need to improve the way that I make decisions in the world. I need to gain wisdom. And now I'm going to commit myself to doing things in a better way. And I'm going to make real improvements in my life. You know, that is more challenging for someone to choose to do. So whenever people come to learn with me, I admire the fact that people are choosing to do that inner work, because I know it's not easy. It's challenging. It's not easy, but it's not difficult either. You need the guidance of how to do it. And when you're getting the proper guidance, you can actually do this inner work and see real improvement in your life. So whatever you guys choose to do is totally up to you. As I mentioned, I'll just end by saying thank you to all of you guys for participating in our course. And I look forward to tomorrow going out and spending time with you guys and sharing the Wat Umong and Wat Doi Suthep and taking you guys around and teaching you different things about the teachings of the Buddha. So if there's anything that you would like from me, whether you need guidance on meditation and you'd like to learn a little bit of meditation, we can do that over here. If you have questions that you'd like to ask, you can come over here and talk with me about that. If you'd like to do some cleaning, you're welcome to do that. If you would like to just do some meditation on your own, either walking, lying, standing, sitting, any of that kind of stuff, you're welcome to do that. Totally up to you. So I'm here to support you, whatever you'd like to do. But now's your opportunity to start integrating some of the teachings into your life. Okay, so whatever you decide to do, have fun, be well, and I'm here to help you as you need help. So have a good and lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you perhaps next time. Okay?